my channel. Today I'm actually going to be doing a book review. Considering the UK is in lockdown again, I have actually already read quite a few books this year, one of which being The Magpie Society by Zoe Sugg and Amy McCulloch. When this came out, I was very excited to read it, as I do follow Zoe Sugg and I followed her for years and years and years. And previously she's brought out some books called Girl Online. Now, because I'm just that little bit older, Girl Online just felt too young for me. I never read them. It just wasn't aimed for a person of my age at that time. My younger sister read them and she really enjoyed them. So when Zoe said that she was writing this book with Amy McCulloch and it is a gothic thriller, I thought, brilliant. That is a book that I can read. So it is called The Magpie Society, 1 for Sorrow. Like the rhyme, I know the beginning bit of the rhyme. It's 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy. And then it keeps going and I can't remember the rest of it, but anyway. So I already like that. It's already got a nice, clever little tie-up into something that we know and recognise in our world. And also, I just think that the cover is fantastic. So you've got this magpie and then this Hogwarts-looking school, well, shadow of a school, and the purple and black, I think it looks fabulous. And if you take the dust cover off, it looks even better. Look at that. And then it's got the purple metallic writing down the side. I just think that looks great. This is a hardback, which I actually really like hardbacks. The only thing that's annoying about them is that they take up too much room on your bookshelf. The design for the front cover of the book, I think, is brilliant. And even though you should never judge a book by its cover, let's face it, it is important what the book looks like. Well, it is to me anyway. It's the cover. The cover's the first thing that entices you into actually wanting to read it, and I feel like this book does just that. So I'm going to read the blurb to you. The screaming was coming from the sea. A figure was standing by the water. The sun had disappeared from the horizon, but there was enough ambient light to see by. A body lay on the sand, waves lapping at the soles of her feet. She was on her front, but her head was tilted to one side. Her lips tinged an unnatural blue. Pale skin, blue lips, tangled strands of hair, twisted limbs. And on her back, an elaborate tattoo of a magpie. ... So, if that doesn't entice you in, I don't know what will. It basically sets the scene of a death. Is it a murder? Is it suicide? Was it an accident? Who knows? And that's basically what this book looks at uncovering. So the book, I don't want to give away any spoilers. And judging by the blurb, I feel quite comfortable in saying that that is how the book starts off, with this scene of a body being found at a beach. So straight away, you're in with the nitty gritty gothic thriller atmosphere for this book. This book is a YA book. It is therefore aimed at young adults. And you can tell in the writing that this is the audience that they intended. The writing's fairly simplistic, but it is written really well. It's not cringy modern language. It's simple, but still has lots of detail, lots of description, and some very clever writing in my opinion. For this type of book, for a gothic thriller, I actually like the fact it's aimed at young adults, because whilst I love a bit of a thriller and something tense and dramatic and a mystery to solve, I don't like reading things that are too dark. And this has a darkness to it, but it's not horribly morbid or dark for the sake of being dark. It's not grim. You can read it and then quite happily go to bed, which is just perfect for me. So I like that side of it. That just suits me personally. Another thing that I really like is that it is written from the perspective of two characters. So you have Audrey and you have Ivy. Now, I've said in previous videos, I love books that follow different characters. That is a style that I just really enjoy, as well as books that go backwards and forwards in time, which this doesn't do, but it does follow different characters. I think that that's a really clever way to pull the reader in. It means that by following one character then switching over to the other person's point of view, the reader almost has a little bit more information, and you kind of get more involved in the character development if you're reading from the different perspectives. And it's a good way of bringing new information to the reader by following different people and watching how it intertwines. It's just a style that I always go for, and this book does it. Now, I believe that Ivy is written by Zoe and Audrey is written by Amy. Ivy is a British girl who attends the school that it's based around called Illumin Hall. I think that's how you say it. And then Audrey is a student who's transferred over from America. So you have two very different characters there. I think that they're both likeable. Ivy is a little bit hot and cold. She's very focused on being the best, her schoolwork, high achievement, which I can definitely relate to that sort of perfectionist side of her. And then Audrey is a little bit more of a stereotypical teenage American character. I definitely relate her to Emma Roberts in Wild Child. That's the kind of vibe I get. However, they both seem to have a really good heart. They're just different to each other. So those are the two characters that you follow. And as Audrey is new to the school, as the reader, the way we learn more about the school is through her, which I think is a really clever way of helping the reader find out the ins and outs, the secrets, how the school functions, by us traveling that and experiencing that with one of the book characters. I think that was done very well. It definitely has a little bit of a Hogwarts feel to it, which doesn't actually surprise me because I know Zoe Sugg loves Harry Potter. I really like Harry Potter and it did make me laugh. I think Hogwarts was even referenced in it. So there was obviously an element of inspiration from that for their writing of Illumin Hall. Some people may not have liked that, but I kind of saw it as the writers indulging in their love of Harry Potter by putting a little bit of it into their own book, which is exactly the kind of thing that I would want to do if I were writing a book. So I enjoyed that, it made me smile. Naturally, this is the kind of book that has lots of questions that you want to be answered and you have to keep reading to find out what the answers are. The beginning of the book is, I guess, slow, but I wouldn't say in a bad way. I mean, I read it in 24 hours, so it wasn't that slow paced for me because I've read it solidly. If you were reading like a chapter a night, I don't know whether it would be a little too slow, but it basically sets the scene. At least the first half of the book sets the scene. But I enjoyed that. It's this British boarding school at the seaside next to a village. I love that kind of cozy setting for a story. So even if not much happens, I enjoy that description, and to be honest with you, it really made me want to go away. It made me want to go away to a seaside town, which obviously being locked down, we can't do right now. So yeah, it set the scene, introduced you to different characters, showed you a little glimpse of the ins and outs of the way the school works, and it was enjoyable. It was just nice and relaxed and enjoyable. Throughout the book, there are chapters which start addressing the death of this student. Her name is Lola. I'm not going to go into any detail as to how they do this, but there are chapters allocated within the book which are not Ivy or Audrey. They focus purely on Lola's death. It starts sprinkling in little pieces of information for you and keeps you on your toes throughout the book with constant questions. The second half of the book, that is where things really pick up speed. The characters who are investigating what happened to this girl and how she came to die are starting to get answers, and they are starting to be able to place puzzle pieces together. Some of them don't quite fit, some of them you think they fit and then they don't. Some of them purely just by fitting one piece of the puzzle, you then just got another whole load of questions. And it really picks up. The second half of the book is fast paced right through to the end. So you do gather a little bit of information. The pieces are starting to fit together. However, nothing majorly substantial has actually been answered by the end of the book, and it leaves you on a massive cliffhanger. I know that some people have not liked this, and I must admit, there is a promise of a second book, so it doesn't bother me completely. However, knowing that I've got to wait until October of this year, I believe, that is a little frustrating. So a little part of me wonders whether there perhaps should have been a little bit more revealed in this book, but enough is revealed that you satisfy some of your questions, but it just leaves you with a whole load more, which, to be honest with you, if you're going to write a sequel of books, that is what you want. You want the readers to want to pick up the next book to find out what happened, so they have done that perfectly. And I'm expecting that the second book is going to dive straight into the action and just pick up speed throughout. I imagine that we would be straight in the drama, and that is how the tone of the book would stay. They've built up suspense. That is what you want to do with a gothic thriller, and they've done it. And I definitely am looking forward to reading the next one. So all in all, I really enjoyed this book. Like I said, it was an easy read. It was still drama filled. It was still very much in keeping with the gothic atmosphere and theme. I thought it was very tasteful and definitely appropriate for the YA audience, and I would recommend it. So there you go, there you have it. The Magpie Society, One for Sorrow. The magpie is a continuous theme throughout the book, which is nice. That ties it all together and keeps it all connected. So that has been done really nicely. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.